Ms. Allen, you claim the defendant got you pregnant and now refuses to do anything for your 2-year-old daughter, Novella, who's been diagnosed with severe allergies, leaving you in financial and emotional distress. You claim today's DNA test will prove that he is Novella's father, and you need him to step up.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Toliver, you and your girlfriend say you are 100% certain you are not her child's biological father and have evidence to support your claim. Ms. Allen, what has he done for your daughter?
Absolutely nothing, Honor.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Wow. Has he paid any child support at all?
No, Your Honor.
Been involved in her life?
No, Your Honor.
Come to visit her?
No, Your Honor.
I have several reasons that I can prove that I'm not the father.
How?
Well, I mean...
What can you prove?
I've tried to get her to do a DNA test. For instance, just the other day, said she's not going to do the test.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been avoiding the test, Ms. Allen?
No, I haven't not been avoiding the test.
Why haven't you taken it if he's volunteering?
He's the reason why. I honestly do not want to go take a test by myself with him. And he don't want to be around my family.
Wait a minute, now you laid down by yourself with him? Now you can't go and get a DNA test by yourself? I've never heard of such.
I just don't feel comfortable around him.
But you don't have to be present at the same time to get the DNA testing done.
She texts him saying that she misses him, and, you know, I accidentally saw that. It was on Facebook Messenger that she missed him. So I don't know where she's getting this. She doesn't want to be with him. You know, it confuses me, too, so.
Whenever she breaks up or has a fight with her boyfriend, she comes back to me with acting like she wants to get back with me. She loves me and she misses me, but then when she's in a relationship, I don't hear anything from her. You know,
Wait, let me just go back first. Before we jump into this, I want to make sure I understand. You two were in a sexual relationship at some point,
yes.
am I correct?
Yes.
Was it during the window of time that Novella was conceived?
Yes, ma'am.
How long were you together?
It's a couple of months, not long. It wasn't a heavy, steady relationship. We weren't...
So you weren't committed?
Yeah, we was committed.
We seen each other on the weekends every now and again. It's not like we lived in different counties.
And so, well, you know, you can get someone pregnant that lives in a different county.
Yeah. Okay.
But were you using protection every time you were?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
But, okay, well, how we met on a dating site. And we had intercourse the first night we met. She'd also told me
Did you use protection?
No, ma'am. But she told me that the day before that her ex-boyfriend she just broke up with, they had intercourse that night. The night before.
I did not tell you that.
Okay, that's what you said.
No.
Okay, so the day you met her, she says, I had intercourse with my boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend last night, and then you had intercourse with her that night.
Yes, we were having drinks and talking, and I don't want to hear about that. You know, I don't want to hear who you had sex with, but I mean, you know, alcohol does that. Alcohol opens people up. That's what she told me. And I mean, the first night we met, you know, we had sex, you know. I've heard that I'm not the only one that she's been like that with.
I understand, but Mr. Toliver, you do understand that if you were one of them, then you were one of the possible fathers.
Yes, but I mean, did she contact
Well, let me ask you this. If you've been informed that you possibly are this beautiful child's biological father, why is it you aren't pursuing the test or pursuing some form of relationship with this child?
I need to know that if it's mine or not. She give me every reason to believe it's not mine.
So your thing is the buck stops here until I figure out whether or not I am the father. You don't feel like you want to invest any time getting to know the child.
No, it's not that. I mean...
Well, what is it then? It's been 2 years.
Well, I mean, look, okay. She's told me that, you know, over the text messages and phone calls that this other guy here this is going to be Novella's father.
Wait. When did that come out?
This was when she was in the hospital. The guy in the hospital.
Let me see those, please,
her.
Jerome.
And supposedly, you know, she's saying that, and it's on the Facebook.
What are these pictures of, Mr. Toliver?
That's Miss Allen with the guy she was seeing at the time that she's telling me that.
So this is her in the hospital having birth, and that's the man there on the phone in the corner.
Her boyfriend, or she's telling me that that's going to be Novella's father.
When did she tell you this?
Right after the pregnancy.
So you weren't there on this day, the day she delivered?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Were you invited?
No, ma'am. how was I invited? Was she going to invite me and him? I mean, that makes no sense.
I told you that he did not have to be in the delivery room, that you could be in there. Yes, I
So
did.
wait a minute now, Miss Allen, you admit that you had moved on and started dating this gentleman.
Yes.
And you had invited him to the birth of Novella.
Yes.
Was he with you during the pregnancy?
When we got together when I was 3 months pregnant, and he was there the whole time.
He was there the whole time?
Yes.
You told Mr. Toliver that this is Novella's father, or he used the words, this is going to be Novella's father?
I told him that he was going to raise her.
So your contention is that what you truly said was this is going to be her dad, meaning since you're not around and you don't want to be involved, I'm going to make this guy her father.
Yes.
You took that to mean, Mr. Toliver, that it was a potential that he actually was her biological father.
I believe it could be because, I mean, she said that he's the daddy. This is her true father, whatever. I mean, I have a message on Facebook here where he's claiming her as his little girl, you know.
This piece of evidence is what? A picture of...
That's the guy that she was seeing at the time with Novella, you know, as in claiming as his daughter.
My girl's already learning, laugh out loud. So let me ask you this. Do you believe that this gentleman is potentially Novella's biological father, or do you feel like this is just someone she's using to get back at you?
I don't know. It just seems to me like that's a very good chance that he is the father.
When you got pregnant, were you dating anyone else at the time?
No.
Did you call Mr. Toliver and tell him you were pregnant?
Yes, I did.
What was his response?
I called him when I was in the doctor's office, told him I was pregnant, and his basic response was, it was not his problem, it was my problem.
No, I asked her who the father was. That's what I told her. I said, you need to find out who the father is.
And what was the answer?
She said, well, it's mine. She said I was the father. But it's only when she's in a fight with her boyfriend or breaking up with a boyfriend does she come to me and want me back or this and that. And
is that true, Ms. Allen? Do you just come back around after you broke up with somebody?
No.
Do you consistently
Yes,
press
I do.
and try to establish a relationship
Yes.
between Mr. Toliver and Novella?
Yes.
How have you done that?
I have constantly tried to get a hold of him. I've even asked if he wanted to come see her. And it's always, he's too busy.
But
You don't have a way.
I don't have a driver's license. I can't just up and drive to Pelham, Georgia.
Mr. Toliver, have you ever met Novella? She's
No,
2
ma'am.
now.
No, ma'am.
You've never met
No,
her?
ma'am.
2 years.
I know, but I mean, if it was really mine, she would want to have this test done from the beginning.
It's just wrong I think it's just wrong to toss a kid around like that. She needs to find out who the real father is, and she should have done it in the beginning. That's how I feel.
I mean, if she would give me, you know, proof that I am the father, then it'd be totally different. But I can't just change my life because an ex-girlfriend calls and tells me, I'm pregnant with your baby, so you're the father, you need to do this. And she says she don't want money or anything from me. She wants me to be in their lives. Not just Novella's life, their lives. That's why I feel like she's trying to get me back by using the baby. Her ex-boyfriends, from what I understand, and the ones I've seen are losers, more or less. I have a decent job. I mean, I'm a pretty good guy. I'm one of the better candidates that she's dated. And that's what I feel like that she is trying to use that as, use the baby as, well, you know. And I mean, I have a life. I can't change my life just to make her happy because this is what she wants.
So, Ms. Allen, I have to ask you this. In your court papers, you indicate that Novella has severe allergies.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why you desperately want to find or have Mr. Toliver identified as her biological father. You need help.
Yes, I do need help.
Explain.
She has allergy problems. I'm constantly going back and forth to the doctors with her. She's allergic to just about anything you can be allergic to. Pecans, pine trees, oak trees, apples, rice, you name it, she's allergic to it.
There's no medical history of any kind of allergy problems in my family whatsoever, of anything. I mean, nobody in my family is even allergic to poison ivy. We got rid of the weed eater. And,
so wait,
I mean,
the fact that she has these allergies, I mean, this is financially and emotionally taxing on you, I'm sure.
Yes, it is.
And you're taking care of her and getting her back and forth to her doctor all by yourself.
Yes, I am.
Your Honor, I want to get this test done. I want to find out. I mean, everybody needs to know. You know, I need to know. She needs to know. We need to know for the benefit of the baby. But it's, you know, it's never just being the baby's life. It's being our lives.
I never said being our lives because I don't want you in our life. I want you in our daughter's life.
You hear that, Mr. Toliver?
Yes, ma'am. And that's
Do you believe that when she says it, or do you think
No,
she's
because
just...
I've been going through this for 2 years, on and off for 2 years, every couple months.
I've
Every time
moved
she gets in
on.
a
I don't
fight-
want you in my life. I
And
want you in my
Ms.
daughter's
Bowl,
life.
you're in a relationship with Mr. Toliver?
Yes, I am.
And how do you deal with all this?
I mean, if it's not his daughter, so that's fine. But if it is his daughter, I'm gonna act, be like a stepmom, I guess you could say. I'll take care of her, I'll make her happy, like it's my child. So, I mean, but this has got to come to an end. Just figure
And
everything out.
she's seen the message. She picked my phone up the other day and saw a message from Miss Allen saying how she missed me and loved me and wanted to be back with me and all this. It got me in trouble for it. I didn't even send the message, She got mad at me for reading a message from her, and this...
Are you enjoying this a little bit, Mr. Toliver? You say you don't want it, but do you enjoy the fact that she can't seem to completely move on from
No,
you?
I would love...
Because
I
you're
would love her-
entertaining this a
No,
lot.
Well, I'm just trying to make my point here that she's using the baby to try to get back with me.
So in your court papers, one of your major pieces of doubt is that you say no one in your family has allergies.
None whatsoever.
I just have one question, though, and I'd like to speak to a medical expert we have here. Jerome, would you please escort Dr. Jamila Gator into the courtroom? I'd like to ask her a question or two about this allergy issue.
So I'm going to have you go up to the witness stand.
Okay.
Hi, doctor.
Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So, doctor, we're having a discussion concerning beautiful baby Novella's paternity.
Yes.
And we have heard testimony that suggests that she suffers from extreme allergies. Mr. Toliver contends he does not believe he can be her biological father. He says he doesn't have allergies. He says nobody in his family has allergies. And he says for this reason, he believes he could not be Novella's biological father. So I want to know from you, if a child is born first and foremost with allergies, does this cause further complications, asthma, things like this? Are these things you can trace to heredity?
Yes. So asthma is definitely related to allergies. About 65% of asthma is allergic asthma. And that happens when you breathe in air and then the body actually has an overreaction to it or a hypersensitive reaction and causes difficulty with breathing.
Okay. And so is this passed down through the families? Is this hereditary?
So it's interesting. Allergies and asthma are actually not genetic. What can be inherited and can be passed down is something called atopy. And atopy is basically the tendency of the immune system to overreact to things in the environment. So in Novella's case, we've got a list here where she's allergic to, apples, pine trees, cat, oatmeal, eggs, all of these different things that she's allergic to. And the way that things are inherited, the parent per se, whether it's the father or the mother, isn't necessarily going to be allergic to those exact same things. So what can be passed on is just the tendency or the potential to have reactions, and that could be broad from allergies to asthma to eczema.
So it's hard for us to drop a thumbnail and say, oh, you know what? Because of these allergies, her father is...
Exactly.
We can't do that.
No.
That's what I needed to know. So, Mr. Toliver, your argument just went on out the window here with Dr. Gator.
My argument was the way she's been, not willing to do the DNA test.
But part of your argument was, too, that you don't have allergies and no one in your family has them.
Well, that's because she told me
contributed to your doubt.
that the baby had allergies and they had to come from my side of the family. I've told you I'm not sure how the allergy things work. But my reason for doubt is for 2 years now that we've been going on this DNA test and it's not happening. She won't do it. I mean, reason after
Well,
reason.
the good news is this court has administered the DNA testing,
Yes, ma'am.
and I have the results.
Oh,
Jerome? Thank you.
You're welcome.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Allen versus Toliver, when it comes to 2-year-old Novella Allen, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Toliver, you are her father.
okay.
Are you happy?
A little bit, yes, ma'am.
Just a little happy.
I mean, I've always wanted a kid, but the other thing is, though, I mean, now I want Rachel to understand this. I'm going to be in the baby's life, but, you know, I know you said you're over me, but we're done with the going back and forth, okay? I mean, that's...
Yeah, I'm in a serious relationship. I don't want you.
Okay, that's good. That's what... Just want to make sure we're on the same page on that. I mean, me and Brittany are going, you know, we're trying to go somewhere with our relationship. She's going to be part of Novella's life, too.
That's fine.
Ms. Hayes, you say that your sister, the defendant, claims to have a child with your husband of 10 years, and you have petitioned the court for a paternity test. And you are here to warn her that when he finds out her baby is not his today, she'll probably never hear from him again. Now, Ms. Hayes, you state that your sister is just jealous that you were able to have her husband's baby and she was not.
Right.
You have no doubts that your sister's husband is your baby's father, and when you leave here today, you want her out of your lives for good.
Yes.
Ms. Hayes, how did your sister steal your husband?
I came home and found him and her in our bed naked, and I just, you know, I can't believe it after everything I've done for her. I knew that they were sleeping together, but to put it in my face and be in my bed and me walk in and catch them naked, why would it be any different? She slept with my first husband and my second husband. And I didn't even know about my second husband until my dad
and she had
told
me around each of them in the
And,
same
you know,
predicament.
So you're not denying this,
No.
Ms. Hayes? Just so the court can clarify, this was your younger sister?
Yes. I've had custody of this girl since she was 11. You know, the choices that she made between our dad and her mom led her into drugs, prostitution, everything else. The latest time that I rescued you, I helped you get clean.
Yes, Your Honor,
I went
she
to
did.
Chicago after not hearing from her for 7 years. The one time I did hear from her, she didn't even know who I was on the phone. I got to Chicago at 11 o'clock on a Saturday. She walks up to me and she weighs 56 pounds, has sores all over her, and has no shoes on. We left Chicago at 3 o'clock Sunday morning. I'm getting her dressed. I'm putting clothes on this child to take her back to Houston with me.
I lost control of my life, myself, my morals, everything. And when I got clean,
got you every time you picked up a phone
when I
and
got
called.
clean, I had been
Who
an
was there
addict
for
and
you? It
homeless
wasn't
for
your dad.
15
It
years.
wasn't your mom.
And I
It
didn't
was
know
me.
how to be
It was the
respectful.
same
I didn't know
person
how
that
to be
took
a
care of
woman.
you.
I didn't know how to be a lady. I didn't know how to respect myself. And it doesn't come overnight. And I did go to detox for a week. And when all this came about, I didn't go to my sister and say, I need sex or I feel lonely. We used to hang out in her room together, watch movies, whatever we would do.
So you guys, first you got along. You were sisters.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And so everything was great. We would live together, hang out together. I would hang out in her room, watch movies.
And at the same time, she's lying to him about things that I'm doing to get me and him to argue so him and her can go off and spend time together.
And at some point, she says, Corey, make my sister feel like a woman. I'm sorry. Maybe she did it for my best interest.
He came to me,
yeah.
and I said, do what you do. But anybody that was respectful would have said,
I just said
you're
I didn't
my
know how to
sister's
respect
husband.
myself.
Well, anybody
And I
that
can
was
admit that.
respectful would have said, that's
Okay.
my sister's
Now you're playing the
husband.
victim, but you gave him away.
It's not about the victim.
Okay.
It's not about being the victim. You are one in a line of many. And let me say that
Ms. Hayes, let's use proper language in the court, okay? I need clarification on something, particularly the line, do what you do. Does that mean that you looked your husband in the eye and gave him permission to sleep with your sister?
Yes. Well,
And now it's a problem.
I had been with him for 10 years.
Right.
She is probably about number 35 of the women that he'd been with.
They also had an open relationship where Michelle has invited people, like on Corey's birthday, invited other women over to
was
be
a
a part
stripper.
of
Yep,
that.
there was.
They had an open relationship
There
like
was
that.
a stripper. It
So,
wasn't
yeah.
open. It wasn't an open relationship. There was a stripper that came to the house.
Okay. When her husband then approaches you, is there any part of you that just says, this woman has done
Well, I
a
can
lot
say
for me. That's one thing I'm just not gonna do.
I tell her today that I'm still grateful for her. I did not go about our relationship the right way. Again, I was on drugs 15 years, so within a year's time, I didn't have everything perfected.
Michelle, I completely understand all that you've done for your sister. I mean, when you enumerate out the lengths, the things that you've done to make sure pretty much that she's standing here today, I think it's commendable. And you've done what a sister should do. The part I cannot understand, it sounds like to me, as crazy as it is,
The best thing
that
she
you
ever
gave them permission.
The best thing she ever did for me is take him away from me.
Now, Ms. Hayes, I have to ask you, why do you believe if you've let them go off into the sunset, into this relationship, and you know they're together, why do you think he's not the father?
He has a 6-year-old son. Well, actually, he's older than 6 now. And he raised a son that he believed was his for 6 years. Went to court, found out it wasn't his. He don't have nothing to do with him. He has a girl in Dallas now that says she has a baby by him. He won't go take the DNA test. And along with the numerous other women that always say they're pregnant, what makes you so special?
Why would anybody want to have
And ask
Corey's
her about
baby?
how they
He's
got
not
the
a
bag.
millionaire. He's not a millionaire. It's not like I'm going to get a lot of
Because-
child support. What do you think I want from him? It ain't his money.
Are you saying to the court that you feel he's unable
No,
to
she's
have
not
children,
done with
physically
him, and she
unable?
hopes that Kayla's not his
If I
baby.
wanted him, when he came up to me and asked me to sleep with him, I could have.
Oh, and when was that?
I didn't want
when
to.
was that?
Months
Okay,
ago,
and
I told you about
Let
it.
me bring up this. My sister.
So, Ms. Hayes, I have to ask you, is the reason why you think he's not the father of your sister's child because you think he's not able to have children?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Hayes, I have to ask you, is the reason why you think he's not the father of your sister's child because you think he's not able
Part
to
of
have
it,
children?
yes.
She told
Part
him
of
that
it.
she's got more than he does, that he's not
I
a
do.
man.
I do.
Wow. What I want to impress upon you ladies as you argue like sisters is that really it's
Look
not
at her.
about
Look
you.
at my baby.
It's about that beautiful little baby.
When Shauna was pregnant, who
She
was
bought
there
her
for
everything.
you?
She bought my baby everything. And for
that
somebody
baby
who
needed.
hated me and her ex-husband, her husband, out of
It wasn't
spite,
about you
why would
or
they
him, it was
buy
about
my
her.
baby everything?
It was-
This
you know,
is
your own
confusing
dad
to me.
didn't
I'm like,
want you to have a
I'm
baby
pulled
shower
both ways. This doesn't
because he
make
was
sense. I didn't have a
disrespected.
baby shower.
I know.
Everything I got were blessings from
Because
different
I
people.
bought it.
Not just you.
Let's have some order, ladies. It's a beautiful, beautiful little girl. And no matter what the paternity issue is, we know one thing's for certain. You're her aunt.
And I haven't seen her in months.
And I see that you're emotional about that because you obviously love her.
You know, it's always that I'm kidnapping her.
Last time she came over, we had company and we had a roommate. So she followed my roommate in one
Who's
day.
the we having the roommate?
Corey and I.
Okay, that's who I want to meet. I
Okay,
want
let's
to
bring
meet
him in.
Mr. Hill. Jerome, can you please go and escort Mr. Hill into the courtroom, please? It's time for me to hear from him. Mr. Hill, please stand at the podium. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here today. So, there are questions that you may not be this beautiful little girl's father. Now, are you also in question about that?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not gonna lie. Deep down inside, I do have some doubts, and that is because of, I've been through this situation twice before. I took care of a child for 5 years. He's 15-year-old now, and took the DNA test. He wasn't mine.
Okay,
just been
I
together
want
for 2
to
years.
focus my attention on
I've been with Corey
this
since little Corey was
child.
6.
So, are you on the birth certificate?
Unfortunately, no, I'm
No,
not.
he wouldn't sign it.
He had to
that's
go to
that's
work.
not the case, ma'am.
He wouldn't. He was at the hospital every day and could have signed it at any time. It didn't have to be that particular day at that particular
Why
time.
didn't
That's
you
not
sign the
true.
birth certificate?
I had to be to work within an hour. They came down for her to sign the papers. By the time they would go up and get the papers for me to sign, I would have already been at work.
Yeah,
You was in and out. Now, how old is the baby?
Almost 11 months.
Almost 11 months
Yes, ma'am.
old. So in 11 months, you never take it upon yourself to make arrangements to sign that birth certificate? You never take it upon yourself to make arrangements to sign that birth certificate?
Not true again. Not true again.
Tell me.
This is the deal. They gave us paperwork that we could mail in after we signed it. We did that. In the allotted time, they give you 30 days to do it. We did that. Unfortunately, for some unordinary reason that I don't know of, they didn't get the paper. And we went downtown to the county to follow up on it. They never got it. So, I mean, that's what happened as far as with me not signing the birth certificate.
So that's bogus because she was in the hospital after she had Kayla. Kayla was in the hospital for a month after they had her. They could have done it. Yes, he had to work. He only works like 3-4 days a week. Where's the other 3 or 4 days? What's he doing? Up there with her.
We didn't have a car.
24/7. He was with you 24/7.
And Mr. Hill, you have also told this court that there have been 2 different instances where you believe children to be yours, and then you find out later that they were not.
Yes, ma'am. As I stated before, there was a little boy, he's 15 years old. There's a little girl, she's 7 years old. We took a DNA sample. That is the truth. I actually showed.
For the girl, that's the truth.
Let me stay on this issue. You also stated to the court, Ms. Hayes, that in all the years that you were together with Mr. Hill, he never got you pregnant.
No. And the other 25 women that he carried on with for long-term relationships.
No, you just jealous of us and you want to take the baby. That's what that is.
I don't want your baby. I don't want Kayla.
I didn't say you wanted to have the baby. I said you wanted to have the baby taken from us. It's proven by your actions.
Really?
Yes.
Have I called CPS on you?
Yeah, she came in and picked my baby up because we were outside on the patio.
I sure did. Her premature baby was on the couch by herself.
Family doesn't save you and then dog you out. She called his job after we changed our numbers just to tell him that Kayla doesn't look like him.
This is going all over the place, and we're getting nowhere. I'm supposed to be looking at family.
Yep.
And it would seem as if you two don't get along. I mean, you could be strangers on the street and be arguing like this. Now, you all are adults. You can mess up your life. You can not get along. You can be immature. But at some point, it affects her. And you got to get it together. What is the emotion you're feeling, Ms. Hayes?
You know, you sit there and you say family don't save you and dog you out. You're right, they
That's
still
why I
don't.
turn to God. That's the only hope I have. God has brought me a long way, and I'm very
Preach
grateful.
Christ all you want. At the end of the day, you're full of it.
Well, I'm sorry you don't know him like I'm trying to know him.
At the end of the day, and the person that, you know.
Now, it's about boundaries, though. And I am not hearing where, with everything that's happened with you two, where you have created some reasonably safe boundaries, like, okay, I'm okay that you're with my ex-husband now, but this is what we need to do.
It's not about a man.
Fighting for my baby.
It's not, trust me, and it ain't about him.
So
I'm married to somebody else.
So now you're married to someone else.
Divorce him. No, just because?
Just because.
That's great. That's
Wait.
an upstanding deal.
You're married to somebody else, but you haven't divorced him?
Right, right.
That doesn't
Seems
sound
like everybody's
legal.
up to something, huh?
Okay. I want to give you both some words of advisement and encouragement, because I looked at a beautiful little girl on this screen, and all I can think is she deserves more than this.
She deserves family. She shouldn't just have to be around them two.
At the end of the day, this court is concerned with the best interest of this child. I think it's time to reveal the results. Jerome, please pass me the results. Thank you. I think it's time to reveal the results. When it comes to 4-month-old Kayla. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Hill, you are her father.
I just want to say what I was back then, I'm not today. And everybody needs a time frame to grow and get better. And I'm sorry that I didn't make the right decisions, but I'm doing the best I can. And if God provided us with this blessing, I'm going to do my best.
Mr. Hill?
Your Honor, I would just like to say that I hope that in the near future that they can mend their relationship, because at the end of the day, I never wanted to break two sisters apart, separate them, or have them feeling the way they feel right now. And that's just who I am and how I feel.
I commend you for taking responsibility for what you feel your part was in this. Now, Ms. Hayes, Michelle, you've said that you've moved on, and I am hoping now that you will have a sense of closure and maybe be able to form a relationship with your sister that can exist outside of just this man, but just between sisters. And you now know that she wasn't lying. Mr. Hill is the father. Can you accept that? Can you move forward? Ms. Hayes, I want you to keep doing the right things, minute to minute, day by day, week by week, month by month, one day at a time. You've been to hell and back. But the most important word I just said is back. You're back. And if you never thought you had anything to live for,
She's what keeps me going.
the court will provide you with drug counseling resources so that you can continue your healing. You must do this. And Mr. Hill, you must sign that birth certificate. Court is adjourned.